So let me find out Jalen is out here being the cougar tamer. That was hilarious to me. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite show to review, and that is Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 3, episode 3, 4. It'll be right in the title, it'll be right in the description box. Let's go ahead and just get into it. The episode starts off where last one ended, with Tiffany at the table, honey, spraying anybody that came into her way. I'm talking about she started with Kimmi and now she's on to the birthday girl Destiny. I'm sure that was not the gift that she expected to receive at this brunch. And honestly, it was just straight up messy. Tiffany knew exactly what she was doing when she came in there, even though she claims that, oh, well, this happened years ago. You know, I didn't think this would affect her at this the way it is now. So I have a couple of questions. Number one, how many years ago did this happen? Because Destiny's marriage was only a year old. So that means you went into this marriage knowing that La Bum Bum was out here possibly dipping in and doing it with someone else. Number two, if this happened years ago, why would you bring it up now? How is that something that she's just supposed to remember you by, Tiffany? Number three, didn't you tell Melody back at the office a couple episodes ago that you didn't even know who Destiny was, but all of a sudden now you got these remembrances about her? Yeah, Tiffany, we're not featuring you, sis. Not over here. Anyway. Speaking of not featuring, I'm not featuring Mel in this scene. I let her first little slick comment go when she said that she wasn't surprised that Tiffany didn't know that Destiny was married. I let that little slick comment slide. But then the way Mel continued this episode, baby, I'm side-eyeing Mel too. And it makes me feel like Destiny might have a valid reason for not giving you all of her tea. So Mel asked in front of everybody, after clearly your friend just came to the table and sprayed your other friend, she's gonna ask, well, was La Bum Bum a cheater? Because, you know, it could have been a business partner. If not, then there's nothing to talk about. So am I just gonna sit up here at this table and be like, yep, yeah, he was a cheater? That's just not what Destiny's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mel, we respect you for your openness in your situation, but Destiny has not been open at all when it came to her relationship with La Bum Bum, which is an issue, seeing as how she is on this reality show and it's called Love and Marriage, and so we ain't even heard nothing about your marriage. But as my friend, Heifer, you don't ask me that at the table in front of mixed company. That's not what we do. Okay? I don't know, Mel. I don't know, Mel. I ain't like it. I ain't like it at all. So Destiny gets up, she leaves. One of her other like actual friends that was at the party comes to like comfort her and like make sure that she was okay. And Destiny lets me know, I mean, I might seem straight, but I am still going through a divorce. I'm human. I have emotions. I felt bad for Destiny. That ain't what she came to this party for. And to be honest with you, she should have read Miss Tiffany down sitting there at that table. You had more smoke for Kimmi last couple seasons ago calling your husband the chicken man than you do for this girl playing in your face right now. Something about that just seems off to me. But anywho, I'm not going to, whatever. Destiny comes back to the table and they get the party back on track and they start to discuss how Destiny and Kimmi actually have a lot of things in common. They are actually becoming friends and they eat some cake. And I think that Kimmi is going to replace Mel in Destiny's world very soon, because Mel, that was real messy of you. Now that's all we really get about Mel from this episode. So let's keep on going. Next scene we get is Marsau getting to Houston. You know, he got there a little late because he had to handle some business with the chocolate in a bottle. And Tisha opens the door and she got her lingerie on and she ready for sexy time. And Marsau was just messing it up. He is in work mode. He wants to talk about the itinerary and the restaurant and any and everything. But his wife sitting there halfway naked, trying to, trying to serve it for the girls. You know what I'm saying? There is actually very little chemistry between Marsau and Tisha. It's kind of sad, and I think that is going to lead further into the issue that we have later on in the episode, but we gonna get there. Next, we have Kimmi talking to Maurice, and she basically gives him the rundown on the birthday brunch. And while she's saying, well, there was a new girl there, Tiffany, and she brought up Monster vaping in the bathroom. Did you know about that? And Maurice goes, well, yeah, I knew about it. And Kimmi goes on to explain that, well, she didn't want to bring too much attention to it at the table. It was something that she didn't know about. She was very taken aback by it. And Maurice gets straight up pissed. Like, this is the maddest that we have seen Maurice in the 3 seasons that they have done this show, which I respect it, but also, like, so I respected him being upset because he felt like, number one, you don't bring nothing like that up to somebody that you just met. Then you're bringing it up in front of mixed company. So now it's making it seem like my child is this delinquent child. So he's upset. I get all of that. And he says that he handled this situation with the vaping between him and Monster. They didn't want to bring everybody into it. He said it had already been handled even before he let Kiowa know what happened. He didn't consult with Kiowa about what to do. He let Kiowa know what happened. He didn't even tell Kimmi. To me, it's just problematic just because Kimmi says that she feels like she doesn't that Maurice doesn't tell her everything, that she, she's not privy to all of the information that's going on. And to me, that's problematic. Even if you didn't necessarily want Kimmi's input, it's still something that I think should have been discussed or would have been discussed. And that's just me and how I talk. Like, I tell my husband, like, 98% of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he pretty much gets everything. So especially when it comes to like my child or something, even if I wasn't asking for feedback on, your opinion on how I handled it, I still would have talked to her about it. That's just me. But Kimmi says that now that Monster's here, Maurice needs to find more balance when it comes to spending time with him as well as working and making sure that there is some work-family balance. And the way Kimmi said it, she was not trying to condemn him. She did not say that he didn't spend any time. But at this point, Maurice is just completely, like, he's defensive. He's shut down. You can see everything when Kimmy's like, well, I just think you need more balance. What are you trying to say, that I don't spend time with Monster? She says, no, that's not what I said. No, Maurice, that's not what I said. And I respect Kimmi in this conversation. If y'all watched it, this was I respect her because this is not who I am. Me and my husband were watching the show together, and we were talking about just how that conversation would have went in our household. I am not a Kimmi. I am not as evolved as she is, because she recognized that he was already on defense, and so she was trying to validate his feelings and trying to reassure him that he is doing a great job, but also trying to get her point across. I'm not necessarily like that. Like, I would just, like, shut down. I'm like, you know what? You got it. All right, whatever. You got it. I'm not even finna sit up here and do this with you. Whatever. You do what you feel is best. But Kimmi, instead of doing what I would do, she really did. She stood on her points to let him know that, conversations like vaping and things like that, even though you might have thought that they happened in high school, this generation is something different, and the conversations have to be had earlier. They cannot be put on the back burner. So I hope Maurice is taking heed to that, even though he was being defensive. I hope that he heard her, because this is a different generation. And just like your little boy is in the bathroom vaping, if it's too late at this point, if you haven't talked to him about sex, like, make sure that you have gotten into all of that. And I can understand that it could be a little overwhelming, especially when he had not been the primary parent for Monster for his whole life, and now you're just kind of getting thrown in. And I think that was also part of what Kimmi was saying last season about uprooting Monster from being with his mom, who he's been forever, to come live with Maurice. I don't think Maurice understood necessarily how big of a change it would be for his household, and that you are going to need some balance. Kimmi also says that she doesn't believe that her input is valued when it comes to raising Monster, and she kind of makes a little slight comment where she says, maybe I just did such a bad job with Jalen that he doesn't feel like he needs to take advice from me, which was her being passive aggressive. And clearly she didn't do a bad job with Jalen. Jalen is a college graduate. He is working. He ain't got a whole bunch of children out here. Like, he's clearly a good kid. So it's clear she was just being passive aggressive about it. And I think Maurice should take some more stock in what she's saying. I get he's the father. No one is saying that he shouldn't, but she's also a parent in the household. So sometimes just taking a little, just hearing is okay. And it didn't seem like Maurice was hearing in this conversation. Then we see the Scotts in Houston, aka Maurice and Marsau and Tisha, and they go to meet with some family for a family dinner. They meet Uncle Mike and his wife. All right, so they sit down. Everything looks cute or whatever. This is supposed to be their one day off, so they're not supposed to be discussing business. We gonna end up discussing business anyway, but okay. And they start talking about how they're coming up on their 15th anniversary. And, of course, Tisha wants to do it big. It's 15 years. So, of course, she wants to do it big. Marsau says, well, we did it big for the 10th, for the 11th, for the 12th, for the 13th. Maybe for the 15th, we just keep it nice, small, and intimate. We don't want a big to-do. Of course, Tisha ain't here for that. And then I found this interesting. And Tisha gets on my nerves because she does this a lot. She made a passive-aggressive comment about Scott Manor, about, well, hopefully we'll be in Scott Manor by the time we celebrate our 20th. So this is when we find out that Uncle Mike apparently is like the designer, I guess, for the Scott Manor. Maybe he's like designing and contracting out the people to get it started. So by her saying that, it's her way of bringing up, okay, so when our house gonna be ready? That was rude as hell. That would have pissed me off. It would have pissed me off. Like, why would you even say that? So Uncle Mike was like, well, hopefully the house will be done before then. It was like, yeah, well, hopefully. So what's going on with that? Uncle Mike says that it's not all on his side, that the project is being delayed. Number one, there's like the third party people, I guess, that he's contracting out to. They're having issue. And then on top of that, y'all keep changing the design of the place. Y'all, you went from wanting a closet to a 2-story closet. You went from wanting the garage on the main floor to the garage in the basement. You wanted more car. So all of that causes delays in the project. And Tisha takes that time to feel like she is getting validated in her point that she's not the only one holding up the project, because some of the things that were wanted, Marsau wanted as well. But at the end of the day, y'all listen up here making like comments to Uncle Mike about how things aren't moving fast, but y'all are also part of the reason why things aren't moving how they need to be moving. It was just an awkward dinner. The wife was sitting there looking with the pluck face the whole time. My husband was like, this is awkward. I'm like, exactly. This is not, first of all, I thought y'all were supposed to be sitting here having a non-business meeting, and then the next thing you know, we're talking about business. I almost think Marsau doesn't know how to turn it off. Meanwhile, in Huntsville, we see Kimmi and Jalen walking through his condo. They've closed on it, and this is going to be their first project together on the real estate side. Now, you know that Jalen really does want to get into real estate. So they're going to do like a complete good reno of this condo, make it like a really nice bachelor pad for him, kind of get him into the flipping side of real estate. And this is honestly what he wants to do. And I like that Kimmi is there to help walk him through it, because at least with her, he can get some training and some guidance that he obviously is not getting when it comes to Marsau. Speaking of the lack of training that he's getting with Marsau, Jalen and Kimmi begin to have a conversation about it, and he's complaining about how he's always there working 6-7 days a week. He doesn't feel like the Scotts are recognizing the work that he does do and acknowledging that he is doing a great job for the lack of experience that he has, and that he's always getting blamed for things when things go wrong, that they don't have, that the Scotts themselves don't have good communication, because Tisha will say one thing and he'll do that, but then Marsau will come back and want something done the completely opposite way. And Kimmi is just like, honestly, this is what she expected. No one expected Marsau to give any kind of good training. He's great at telling you what to do, but not necessarily how to do it. And she also says that the issue started from the very beginning when Jalen was offered some type of unclear percentage when it came to ownership in the business, but that has never been completely discussed or ironed out. And so that could have a reason too into why Marsau feels like Jalen should be more invested in coming up with solutions and figuring things out, because he does see Jalen as some part owner. But if they've never actually decided, oh, well, you have 5%, or after if we get to this profit margin, then you have this percentage, and they still 5-6 months in have not ironed that out, that's an issue, and that's something that needs to be addressed immediately. Now, Kimmi does say that at the end of the day, experience is the best teacher. And when she started off as a nurse, she was not the best nurse. She even left a patient out in the hallway or something. She said the patient was fine, but it caused her to be a little bit more vigilant. I felt like, all right, Kimmi, you making an excuse because this is your son. I get it. But she also doubles back and say, at the end of the day, Jalen, you have to have better communication with the Scotts. So I just liked that whole interaction. And at the end of it, they start talking about Destiny or whatever. And Jalen, and Kimmi says, well, Destiny think you got a little crush on her. She say that you was looking at her and stuff like that. And Jalen was like, I think she's a beautiful woman, but, she ain't my type. But, I am a cougar tamer. That was hilarious to me. Do you hear me? That tickled me so bad. She's like, Kimmy's like, that's not something I want to hear. It just reminds me of, like, my husband and my brother-in-law with my mother-in-law. They always make like they make like the craziest jokes just to kind of irritate her, just to kind of like the wildest jokes ever. And I'm assuming that's just what boys do to their mom, just be like, yeah, I'm a man, yeah, I'm the cougar tamer, yeah. But it was cute, it was funny. So then we see the Blaque party, which is like the launch for Chocolate in a Bottle. And we get to see like a own crossover. We have some of the cast from Ready to Love. We have Tommy and his wife. It looked like a great event. Marsau was really working the room. That is something that Marsau was good at. That's what we saw in earlier episodes that he wants Jalen to be able to do, is, work a room, really network. And when Marsau goes over to Kyra, whose titties are tittying like they always do, Tisha immediately gets intimidated. She comes over and like takes Marsau away from her, and then they end up going outside. And this was problematic to me. Because the way that they hyped it up on the like previews, you would have thought that like Kyra touched him, like, how you go, oh, touch it. Like, we didn't see any of that. It was a simple, hey, are you enjoying the party? Glad to see y'all out here. Marsau was talking to everybody at the party. And so what was it about Kyra that made Tisha so intimidated? I don't know. She claims that she saw Kyra looking at him a certain type of way. And Marsau's like, I don't get what you're saying. I don't get what the issue is. I think part of it is the fact that they don't have any real chemistry anyway. And so when she sees him interacting, even if it is the slightest way of being like more warming and welcoming than he is with her, then she automatically feels away. And then it doesn't help when you keep having to hear everyone on social media speculating about what your husband is doing out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But overall, it looked like a great event. They talk about how they want to expand Blaque to Houston. They like the vibe. They want to do something grown and sexy. The champagne is great. It's the best champagne they've ever had. So it was a good event, but Tisha, your insecurities are showing. Lastly, we see Kimmi and Maurice going to meet up with Kiowa. Now, y'all remember last episode, they were on the phone and Kiowa decided that she wanted to have a meetup with everyone, including her husband, so they could kind of further discuss Monster. And so, as they're sitting at the table, Maurice is saying how he is happy that everyone's going to be there, that both of the step parents can be there so that everyone can be on one accord. This has never happened before, and this is very important when it comes to raising Monster effectively, which I agree with. I think this is probably long overdue. But as they're waiting, Maurice has like another appointment that's directly after this meeting that he didn't tell anybody about. So now he's going to have to rush out because Kiowa and her husband are late. And Kimmi's like, so you're just going to leave me here to handle this? The whole point is for all four of us to be here. You just said how important it was for all four of us to be here, and you're finna leave. That doesn't even make sense. And I'm not finna speak on your behalf, which I completely agree. Like, Kimmy's like, what is going on? Like, the whole point, number one, you don't take my advice or my input when it comes to raising Monster. Number two, me and Kiowa, we just now get into a place where we can kind of somewhat coexist. Number three, this ain't my child. This is really supposed to be you and Kiowa spearheading this conversation so that we can all be on the same page. And you have the audacity to leave. Kimmi has the patience of Job. And I like Maurice. Maurice is my favorite husband on this show. However, his ways are starting to show a bit more this season, and it's starting to show that he is just a little bit more self-involved than we may have seen in the past. He's a little self-unaware. You get what I'm saying? Like, do you not see how important it is? And you're spreading yourself thin. And it could be for a very good reason. Yes, it's a business meeting. That's great. But that goes back to what Kimmi is saying about, but where is the balance? Okay? So this is a meeting about your child that you agreed to doing. So even if you wanted to have a business meeting afterward, you need to let Kiowa know, hey, I need you here at 2 because I only have an hour before I have to get back to work. Or I have this meeting, so how about we reschedule it for the next day? Maurice, you're dropping the ball. And so the episode ends with Kiowa and her husband coming up and Kimmi sitting here packing up the food. And I guess gonna have to reschedule this meeting. It was very awkward. It's very awkward. Overall, great episode. I enjoyed Love and Marriage Huntsville. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. Please do not forget to like this video, share this video, sharing is caring, and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any more of my videos. Y'all will be getting the Real Housewives of Potomac very soon. I'm gonna actually sit down and watch it now, so hopefully that video will be up either today on Monday, because when I'm posting this will be Monday, either today on Monday at the latest Tuesday. So y'all make sure y'all come back for that, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.